Thank God it's Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajulu Olabisi Ubu, and with me are the amazing ladies. Happy New Year. Ooh,
Happy New Year. I love your smile.
Thank you. How you doing? How was
fine.
How was 2024? We haven't seen this year.
Yes, we haven't. No, we saw on Wednesday.
No, I wasn't here on Wednesday.
No, that was Tuesday.
Oh, that was
Tuesday, yes.
Okay, that's true. So I'm just very grateful. 2024 was a good year for me, and 2025 started on a good note, to be honest. Though I was very, very under the weather. I've been very sick. To the extent my family could not eat well. My husband told me on Monday, was like, now I know that you are the one that holds this family. Because he has not been eating well. They've not even been
uncooked meals.
Yeah, they've not been happy.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm the light of the house.
Yes, you are.
And so my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, they came there for yesterday, and she made some nice meals for me. So we have a lot of food in the freezer now. So he's happy. My family, they're happy. I'm just praying to God for good health.
Yeah, but you're on medications, right?
I am on
and
medication.
You're resting too.
But I don't understand why this malaria refused to leave. I still have bitter taste.
Okay.
I honestly don't understand. I'm done with it.
So there's a side effect to malaria medicine. People don't talk about it.
It's crazy. But, and then I'm also very happy that school resumes on Monday. I'm tired. I can't wait. I want my children
ship them off.
Let them go to school. I'm just grateful.
How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. You can see. I'm like, shocked by it. If you don't take care, my gele will tell you.
Oh, shit.
I don't take prisoners, so it's finished there.
That's it. Take no
Finished
prisoners.
there.
You.
I see my gele. I'm in the mood. Today is my first Friday in 2025.
Yeah.
So I, prayed and worshipped till morning. Well, I've not slept. I don't know why. Just took my normal herbal tea and I became so active. I'm grateful to God for the first Juma. Everybody should do their rituals, which includes reciting Surah to Kaf. That's the 18th chapter of the Quran.
Okay.
Helps
Prayers.
us reflect. So there's 5 lessons in that chapter that I take seriously. Teaches humility and reduces arrogance.
Yeah, amazing. How you doing, Miriam?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. So yesterday, I had the pleasure of being at this event to celebrate for the prayers and celebration of our newly appointed Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Kekere Ekun. But what I loved about this beautiful event is, she had like a group of her peers with her, and all of them looking so beautiful, regal. A lot of times when we talk about women, we talk about them in their youthfulness, but these are women that have achieved a lot. They are older,
Mature.
they are mature, they're settled in their looks. I just loved to see that group of women together, and I thought it was such a beautiful thing. And it's something I pray for myself and a group of all
Pray for me.
friends.
Pray
Yes, for all of us.
I'm on the track.
Yeah. So beautiful, and congratulations to her and her family.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So me, I am still selling my book, Raising Empowered Teens. We've been getting a lot of customers buying the physical copies. We're trying as much as possible to put it on Amazon, but that is a Herculean task. In fact, they are asking you for your hand, your leg, your grandmother's feet, and everything just to make it happen. But we're working on it. Hopefully, before the end of the first quarter, it should be on Amazon. But people are buying physical copies, and I'm sending across to different states. And the book basically is about you as a parent. It's for the parents, helping your teenagers to navigate their teenagehood, right? Now, the course is for the teenagers themselves. It's 10 modules course, and people are still registering, and we take it from there. So I'm hoping to be able to get it on Amazon, really. But the book is still on. Just send me a DM, come to my social media pages, and you can see me there. So let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. A major headline here. NNPCL invites Obasanjo to tour Port Harcourt and Warri refineries. All Giant tackles ex-president over claim that plants can't function. Suspended Edo Council bosses removed from office. Stock market opens new year with 155 billion gains. Oko Jumbo is House Speaker, says Fubara. How tax reform will boost workers' welfare by the federal government. NCAA to protect rights of airlines and passengers. Aida Tiwa unveils economic plan. What stories do we have in the nation?
Okay, so I have the Edo story. Yesterday, two local government chairmen, the chairman of Uwande and the Orion local government area in Edo State, were impeached by the elected councillors. So within the local government, there's also a lawmaking body representing several wards within the local government, and they are called councillors. And so these two local governments, although several others were impeached, were suspended, but these two had their impeachment yesterday, and there was a shootout. People called the wound. Edo. Well,
Wow.
according to this report in the nation, several persons were injured because government invaded the Uwande local government in Ego. And the chairman of that council, Kenneth Adodo, said this government are from government house. According to nation, they send and come. So the governor has a role in this. This is why I'm emphasizing this. The one is local government counterpart who was also impeached, immediately came out to say his impeachment was illegal, the impeachment of his deputy was illegal and unconstitutional. And they quoted the Edo State law, that's Prince Aminu Akodo Kadiri. The councillors of the other two local governments I earlier mentioned were replaced immediately by party leaders or council leaders. So Sareme replaced the impeached chairman in the which of these local government again, and then this leader also himself had been suspended and had fraud allegations around this person. This is just dirty pepper, scatter. Let's have sanity again. The state has been through so much, and it seems like we cannot even know peace yet. But the role is that they reference the Edo State 2000 law, Edo State government law of year 2000 as amended, and they said that the procedure for this removal did not conform with it, and it was therefore illegal. The governor had alleged that some of these chairmen had embezzled 50 million naira meant for salaries, but they have their defense. They're insisting that the monthly salaries exceed this amount, and there are no old salaries. Evidence shows. They said that they paid all salaries promptly till November, which the governor is alleging. And so this is totally unnecessary. And it's also important that we sacrosanctly defend the independence of every local government. Let the governor sit in the center and do his business. Let all local government elections and chairmen and the business of their lawmaking and impeachment be independent of state governors. I don't like this story. I just read them. Just the
So I have a story here. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo received a special invitation yesterday. That was to come and tour the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries to confirm their operational status. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, assured Obasanjo the days of inefficiency were gone, and that the one-time corporation is now a profit-driven company. NLC was that's NNPLC. Was reacting to an interview Obasanjo had granted earlier. And in that interview, he had said that Shell Petroleum Development Company, that's the SPDC, told him that the NNPCL could not run a refinery. And according to him, the SPDC was invited to buy equity in the plant, but then complained that corruption would never allow it to function. That happened many years ago. So Obasanjo himself expressed, the view that NNPCL have been very deceptive about their functionality of the refineries. But now we know that the Port Harcourt refinery has started working in November. The Warri began, working last month. That was December. And the NNPCL Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Mr. Lufemi Shoneye, was the one who now extended the company's invitation to the former president to come and tour the refinery so that he will see that everything is working, and he needs to believe. And, this was also a response to what he has said earlier that, a few years ago when he wanted people to come and buy that refinery, he was not able to sell it. A Shell company could not buy it from him. They told him that the corruption was just too much. They were not transparent and all those things. And so he's still doubting that the refineries will pick up. But I like that he takes up this invitation to go and see, these refineries and be sure that it's actually working. Nigerians just need to trust better. Any other stories in the nation?
Yes, I do. So this is a sad story. To start the year with. They say the Imo State Police Command has arrested a Catholic priest identified as Joseph Eyinaya, that would be Father Joseph Eyinaya, in connection with the murder of a boy in his church. So they said that the boy was shot by the priest December 31st after he set off fireworks inside the St. Columba's Catholic Church in Amaimo, Ikeduru local government area. The police said that they have arrested the suspect and that investigation has been launched into the matter to, find, and sadly the body has also been deposited at the morgue in the community. The priest has been arrested, the body, and the police have said they've launched a detailed investigation to ascertain the remote facts surrounding the incident. So for me, this is just a sad occurrence because it led to the death of a boy. But I know how scary these fireworks can be. There's one that goes off at the stadium during the holiday season, which is close to my house. As far away as the stadium is from my house, I know how sometimes it wakes me up from my sleep. I mean, you have to now remember, oh, okay, it's the holiday season. Sometimes you feel like a bomb is going off, So I just, I don't understand the state of mind of the priest at the time. Was he fireworks he was expecting?
If he has a good
but then
lawyer
the second part will be, why does he own a gun?
No, that I don't know, but people get licensed to carry guns. I know sometime back, Catholic priests were being targeted by kidnappers, particularly in Edo State, where
took a lot of
so they were being targeted. So I don't know, maybe that's part of it, and that's why I was saying a self-defense, plea would fly. Throwing fireworks, knockout particularly, was what I read, into the compound from outside can be like, it can be like, it's even an assault in criminal terms.
The one that happens near my house is not the one pow. It's like they pour 100 and you go
together. So some people still work with the PTSD of certain past events, and they can't live with it.
Exactly.
We should control it.
I thought that, yes, you're right.
All right. We'll take a breather here. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on now to the Punch. A major headline here: Labour scores governors low as allocations rise by 1.7 trillion. APC kicks as Obi warns Tinubu against foreign medical trips. NNPCL states differ as Northeast oil exploration remains in limbo. Education tax, federal government ASU plans talks over removal. Ekiti, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, others hold New Year Thanksgiving service. NNPCL tackles Obasanjo over alleged $2 billion refinery repair fund. Bishops settling couples fight stabbed to death in Osun. Telcos propose 100% tariff hike. Awaits NCC nod. What stories do we have in the Punch?
Let me take this one from Taraba State. Now, they said that in a bid to tackle hunger and ensure food security, the Taraba State government has announced plans to procure about 10,000 metric tons of assorted grains for distribution to their citizens. Now, according to the governor, Agu Kefas, he mentioned that already they've procured about 3,500 metric tons of assorted grains, and before the end of first quarter, they plan to get about 6,500 metric tons. So he was just reading out some of the achievements of the state. He also mentioned that to uphold and sustain security in the state, he has actually collaborated with security agencies through the Joint Intelligence Network, expanding the Tara Marshal and then working closely with traditional institutions. and neighboring states to address security challenges. On education, he said that his administration has significantly invested in the future of Taraba's children. According to him, they've launched free and compulsory education for primary and secondary levels. So he talked about different things. He talked about how they plan to improve school infrastructure, how they plan to recruit qualified teachers and ensure access to quality education. He talked about road networks and a lot of things that they're actually doing in Taraba State. So this is actually a good one. And we just hope that they see it through. You know, sometimes it's easy to say this is what we're doing.
Want to do, but implementation becomes a
is
problem.
always a problem.
But me, I have this story that makes me wonder whether we're in a democracy. So the governor of Rivers State yesterday declared certain constituencies within the state assembly vacant. And I don't think he's a Supreme Court or any court in any capacity of the bench. He says that he's justifying the presentation of the budget to 3 lawmakers, asserting that 27 members of the House of Assembly are defected from the PDP to the APC and so therefore lost their seats. And I'm wondering, in what capacity do you declare their constituencies unrepresented in the lawmaking body? I don't understand. This is basic. Can you just sit down, read the Constitution before you vie for an office? Because I don't understand how we boastfully say these things. You don't understand the implication of what you've said. So he said there's no remedy for the 27 of them loyal, according to him, to Nyesom Wike, you know, and they cannot return to the assembly. I don't get it. He was addressing them, talking about how he presented a 1.1 trillion budget to the State House in Port Harcourt on Thursday, and he dismissed the claims of the factional members, stating that 3 assembly members led by the Speaker, Oko Jumbo Victor, is the only legitimate legislative body in the state. And he says, I want to say this to some persons who are still mixing up issues. We have only one assembly, and that assembly is led by Victor Oko Jumbo. I pity the people of Rivers State in this. Clearly, there's no democracy. We do not have a constitution that covers them. When we talk, you know, just as the Edo State is doing, can we have an independent House of Assembly? No matter what their loyalty, their politics that they're playing, there are people elected them. They remain elected. The only body that can declare their seats vacant is a sitting court, not any governor in any capacity, no matter what politics is playing. And when there are people no longer have a representative there, you disenfranchise their people.
Yeah.
So how do you present budget and be defending it?
Well, you have a story.
Yes. Okay. So we have, this is another human interest story. An Osun State-based clergy, Bishop Shina Olari Bigbe of Rapture Empowerment International Oshogo, was in the early hours of Thursday, yesterday, stabbed to death while settling a fight between a couple. They said that what they found out is that the husband and the wife serves in his church as an interpreter, and the husband and wife have always had issues, quite contentious issues, and the bishop has always intervened in their issues. That they're separated but not officially divorced, so they're staying in different houses. The man doesn't stay in the house. So on this particular day, which was yesterday, one part of the story says that the bishop, she had been ill and the bishop went to visit. But the husband then went to visit her, or went to the house and found the bishop in her room, in her bedroom. They said on the bed. And the husband got upset and stabbed the bishop multiple times. And of course, the police have gotten involved. The congregation is really sad about what happened. They said, you know, they've lost a hero. So it's a really contentious, you know, matter right now. Like what is the bishop doing in the
bedroom?
Yeah, but is it that or be like that?
They didn't tell us.
Is it that or like that?
So we don't know. We don't know if she couldn't get out of bed and he had to go into her room to lay hands on her.
Can be different things.
There's so many things, yes.
Hey, so painful. I have a story here. I'll just take it quickly so we can take probably our last paper for today. NLC has been raising concerns, you know, concerning everything that's happening in the country. And they said amidst the increase in allocation to subnational government, the NLC has lamented that the masses have been deliberately neglected despite the increasing revenue received and shared by state governors from the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee. The Deputy President of the NLC Political Commission, Professor Theophilus Ndubuaku, was the one who raised the concerns in an exclusive interview recently, and he said these governors are receiving more revenue than before, but there's really no impact on the masses. Some of them said they are executing projects. How can you claim to be executing projects when people, especially pensioners, are dying and many can or neither be able to buy food nor drugs? Now that more people are going into extreme poverty, you're going around boasting that you're getting more money. Don't forget that this money is what was extorted from the people in form of the so-called removal of petroleum subsidy, and you can't put it back in, to feed or teach them how to fish. So he said they also observed that not all the 36 governors were paying the new minimum wage. And what they are doing now is they are amassing money and waiting for 2027. So for me, what's struck out was the fact that many of the governors have not even started paying the new minimum wage. And I think that the government needs to look into that so that at least people will be able to earn their proper wages. Moving on now to the Vanguard. Federal government's deficit spending rises 28% to 12.1 trillion. NNPCL invites Obasanjo to inspect Port Harcourt's Warri refineries. I've taken that story. New Year, Pandef, Afenifere, INC, YCE, NNPP, and others disagree over Tinubu's message. Facts, figures betray federal government's performance claims. This is by OB. Security threats, more still needs to be done. DIC boss, Major General Udia Denye. Nigeria's burning light price hits $78 per barrel in global markets. Budget 2025, how federal government plans to spend 6.743 trillion service-wide vote. Adeleke violated traditions, customs in appointing Owa Obokun. This is according to the ruling family. Edo local government chairman impeached, another counters removal. Any stories
so
about
let me just quickly talk about, the facts, figures, betray Tinubu's performance claims by Obi. So he said a lot. I know that time will not permit. The presidential candidate of Labour Party, LP, in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, has said Nigeria requires selfless and exemplary leadership to surmount its socio-economic challenges in order to attain its full potential. So he said a lot. He talked about how over 100 million people are living in abject poverty. He talked about how security is still one of our problems in Nigeria. He talked about how people cannot even afford to feed well. He said for those living on the margins, low-income earners and the unemployed, he said the situation is even more dire for them. He even talked about the minimum wage and some governors not even paying, and how minimum wage cannot even afford you to buy like a bag of rice. So according to him, he said what he would have done differently, he said he would have commenced a visible and verifiable reduction in the cost of governance to allocate much needed resources to critical areas of development, such as security, health, education, and poverty alleviation. He said all future borrowing, if he was to be the president, all future borrowing must be tied to regenerative investment and visible productive assets that benefit the nation.
Amazing. Any other story in the Vanguard?
Yes, I do. The Fajasimi royal family of Bilaro Olu Odo ruling house has faulted what is described as a hasty selection and presentation of staff of office to the new Owa Obokun of Ijesha land, Oba Adesui Hastrop, describing it as a disruption of customs and traditions of Ijesha and Yoruba land. So Oba Hastrop was selected by kingmakers last Friday, and less than 72 hours later, Governor Ademola Adeleke confirmed his appointment and presented staff of office to the monarch. The Fajasimi royal family of Bilaro Olodo ruling house, where the new monarch was selected, berated the hasty process that produced Oba Hastrop. They said that quite a bit, but let me just quickly read this. Sure, it says, by bypassing this time-honored practice, the cultural essence of Yoruba. So first of all, they say it was hastily done. The selection was hastily done because the moment it was announced, in a few days, he was picked. He says, by bypassing the time-honored practice, the cultural essence of Yoruba kingship is eroded and its sacred foundation is undermined. This rushed selection, approval, and presentation of staff of office raised significant concerns and sparked widespread disapproval. Traditionally, installing a king in Yoruba land is meticulous, involving spiritual rites, consultation with Ifa oracle, and purification process known as seclusion. And so they feel that this is not the way, that he has disregarded custom and traditions that have sustained the people over centuries. This reminds me of the movie that we just watched on Netflix. What was it? This
Seven doors.
Yes, like the process. So it looks like those 7 doors. They didn't enter the 7 doors, and we know what
They didn't
happens
enter it,
when you don't do or when you don't
Yeah.
perform all the
They
rites.
don't actually enter it again.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't enter it anymore.
Most of this kingship now is not
Yeah.
governorship.
Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. So a man tweeted that you set the tone on how others treat your spouse. How true is this? You set the tone on how others, family members, friends, and people around you treat your spouse. You can join the conversation and call us on 081-07-641-679 or 0902-416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So I've heard this in different quarters, you know, when I was still very, very young, where people say that it's the way the man, you know, treats you, the way the man positions you, the way the man carries you is how his family and his friends would treat you. And that if the man does not show you any form of respect, they are going to pick up on that and they will disrespect you when you finally get into the house. But if the man stands by you, the man is, you know, don't even dare, don't come near, don't insult, don't just respect. The respect that they have for him and the way he's treating you will reflect on how, you know, the man or the family members will now begin to treat you. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. So what do you think, Uwe?
So let's say you come into a room now. Today you enter a room filled, I just want to use the word, filled with thugs. And then you're coming in with your own bodyguards, your own policemen. What would happen? Nobody will come and attack you. So what if you enter that room without your policeman, without your bodyguards? What happens to you? That means they can attack you. So yes, in as much as I feel that, yeah, your spouse, either a man or a woman, can actually set the tune, I also feel that you too, you have to respect yourself for people to respect you.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is that I see that a lot of women do too much, especially in the dating stage, fiancé stage. They just married you, new yawo, you are doing too much. You go to your in-laws' house. The first thing, what you would never do in your own parents' house, you will carry broom. You want to sweep. They will say, come and pound here. Hey, yes, mommy, I will pound. Just because you want them to look at you as a good person. You want your husband to speak up for you, Abby, yes. But what if your husband is not there? That's how you see that nowadays, when the man dies, they're always attacking the woman. And then you now say, these people were good to me before. No, they were just trying to put up a front because you were also putting up a front. So you as a person too, how do you carry yourself? How do you position yourself for them to respect you? For me, I know that I cannot wash clothes. I know that I cannot pound yam. When I went to my in-laws' house the first day, I positioned myself in a way that
They don't even use and smell your face.
Mama, see, the thing is that I'm not from the King's Palace. My mama and papa no be Dangote. But when I enter your place, I act as if I'm a princess. I will respect you, to be honest. I will give you all the necessary accords that I need to give you. But you see, overdoing things for you to like me, that's something that I would never, ever, ever do. So that in return, if I cannot do it, you will not start blaming me and say, this person not be good. Oh, you don't change. Let's not be good wife. So yes, I understand that a man too should actually speak up for the wife, and I understand that the woman too should also speak up for their husband. But you as a person, how do you position yourself in the family? That's what I'm offering.
So let's hear Nima. What are your thoughts on this?
Call me Mommy Wa.
Mommy Wa. Let's hear Mommy Wa today.
You must recognize my gilly now. So I completely agree with we, because my experience is different. My husband packaged me. Oh God, he liked the PDA, but I continue to look back. What will Mommy say? What will they say? You know, my husband would come into family house, want to keep me, and I constantly looked back. I learned late. Yeah. I remember one day I just sat and said to myself, I actually don't need anybody to like me. Just a good person. Can I just be good by myself? But by that time, I paid dearly for it. So I want a young girl watching to know. You don't need anybody to package you. I come from a background where I felt I had a duty. So when I came into marriage, I continued that duty. So yes, I didn't wash plates. I don't do eye service. I don't do it. But I denied myself certain comfort and pleasure so that it doesn't seem like I'm in control. There was a time my husband, whenever he comes in, and I used to insist on being in the family house as a young bride, because where we moved to, I had never visited that neighborhood until I married. I had no friends, nothing. So whenever I dress up from my house and go to family house, there's nothing, I will be there. Whether I was liked, whether I wasn't, I will sit there. And so one instance like that, he came back from work and I chatted in, I'm not at home, I'm at a family house. And he came there and, you know, he would do the PDA, he go hug all those things outside. And somebody just said to him, woman rapper. Now me react. He didn't react. He didn't send anybody. But you see me immediately, I was like, leave me. Yeah, don't touch me. Who sent you a message? Really, these people, fast forward, they were living their own lives, putting their mouth in everything, and you hear everything. Who sent you? Over time, I just looked at them, but when I now changed, I took my label very well of a bad girl. But I took it with my full chest, because really, the concerns you carry will deny your life the pleasures of life.
Happiness.
Fast forward, the same standards were not used for other people, and you have overpaid self. You're entitled to your luxuries, your hard-earned money, your work, and you will deny yourself the things you can afford. Imagine me choosing to show up at family house in the cheapest fabric because I don't want them to call me show off when I can afford the biggest fabric. Nobody really owe you. So your mindset is the most important weapon. Whether somebody presents you well, in fact, imagine let the person even present you bad. Imagine you don't present yourself anyhow.
Exactly.
Coming in, setting the tone of how you want to be treated and respected, because that rule then go follow over time. Everybody will fall in place in their puzzles. It's you who should not allow your king puzzle to go and stand in the wrong place. Do yourself well as a young girl. It's important. It's beyond washing plates. It's beyond not washing plates. It's being able to say, no, you shouldn't talk to me like that. Setting your boundaries, say no. Even if it's the matriarch of the house talking to you because we like to put this, you can say, no, this can't work. I can't do this. You know, don't let anybody overburden you, choke you down, press you down. Now you depress yourself. Because as you see, this life is so transient. Things change so fast. People live so fast that you now realize that you've put in so much. I lost someone very dear to me and I had spent money to buy some things for that person that I really wanted the person to use, and death came. If you see the way I cried, I didn't cry that day the person died that much. It was the day that they were delivering all the things. I was like, I promised myself. I cried. So it's so fast, so fleeting that don't waste time. Live your life, but don't lose your humility. Don't disregard others. Have the right value of respect, because you know, and care and kindness. Most important, kindness. But say one person go need you to package you. You say first boost your mindset.
Package yourself first. Miriam, let's hear your thoughts.
I hear both of you, and as much as it's important to set the tone for how you should be addressed by anyone, I think this is particular, specific to marriage, and especially maybe a new couple or a new relationship, and you're going to meet another person's family. As much as it's important to set your boundaries, know your mind, have the right mindset, know who you are, respect yourself and respect others. The reason why this, for me, I believe is a topic is that you're going into territory where it's not your territory. The person you're with, your spouse, your fiancé, that's the person's territory, and they're taking you in there. And they have to set the tone for how those people treat you. Because it's important that people who are going to get into a relationship understand that they play a role in how people treat the person that they've called a fiancé, a spouse, or someone that's dear to them. Because what happens is, if it falls only on you, is that you go into a space confrontational, because that's just the only way to set it. So that there's no confrontation, there's no wahala, there's no back and forth, you set the tone of no disrespect. This is what we can do, or this is what she can do, or this is what she's allowed to do, or this is what I would like for her to do. If you need someone to help you with this, we can pay for help for this, but I would not want her to do that. It's not just the role of the person, because I've seen that happen a lot, where it seems that, especially with the women, you're allowed to set the tone. And so when you come in, because you're trying to set your boundaries, you clash with people. And they give you a name that is not yours. Just because you have to set they don't know you. So they will fight you. The person that they know is now sitting behind you, hands. No. You must set the tone. But you are bringing somebody into a space. True. You must let them know, this thing I'm bringing, is this my pet dog? Is this my wife? Is this my help? You know, you have to give them the message, this is who this person is to me. And this is how I would like that person to be treated. And also, I don't even understand this conversation of you get into a space and people, especially in-laws, want to treat you a certain way. How? For me, I feel like as an in-law, I can't just wait for, to just be in-laws to my younger ones.
Children.
I will treat you, I will receive you with love and kindness first. Let whatever happens determine how I treat you going further. But you're a human being, you deserve respect. I'll treat you with respect. In my house, when you come into a place, you're not, because you're the visitor, you're not expected to be part of all the daily cleaning, you are treated as a visitor with respect. But as you stay longer, even you begin to feel left out, like, don't they want me? How can I help? Do you need any help? Eventually. But that you're targeting people to come to your house so that you can show them. I don't get it. Is it that you don't want them to marry you people, or you don't, I don't get it. So please, let's treat each other with respect. We're all human beings first. We all deserve respect and kindness. And Oga or Madam, you're taking someone into your home. Tell them how you'd like for that person to be treated. Now, I've seen where, in fact, let me not use close family members, but there are instances where someone has said, when the father of this family or the patriarch of this family was alive, when the aunties and uncle come, they'll be sending you up and down, sending you up and down. You are the one that you have to now determine that they should not send you up and down. They should not put whatever on your head to go and grind. Some people say they put something on their head to go and grind. Whatever. You're a bank manager, you have everything. Then they'll now say, because you are now a wife, put it on. And it's not something that's expected of other people. It's just something to do to test you. Why should our own testing be that way? Why don't you test character and test kindness and test loyalty in different ways? Why does it have to look like suffer head when you don't need to, So for me, I really believe that the spouse sets the tone. It doesn't mean that you haven't set the tone for yourself. You also determine what you can take. So when you go somewhere and you can take a step back and call the spouse, because it's not the person you're answering immediately. You call the spouse, they've asked me to do this, as you know. This is not what I'm comfortable with, or this is not what. And sometimes we also make compromises.
Yeah.
Some things that we have said, like this, I can't do it. Sometimes when you see the circumstances, you realize it's not that much of a big deal. I can do this, because in return, they will make compromises for you to going on in the future.
Okay. I've heard the angles. When we come back, we'll dissect it more. So let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So we have an OAP, international sports broadcaster, TV, radio, and a global brand ambassador for over 20 major brands across the world. Former presenter also at a sister brand, Max FM. Back then with Murphy Ijemba. Welcome with us, Sean Amadi. He will be joining the conversation and gisting with the ladies today. Welcome, Sean. It's been a minute.
How is Murphy?
Where have you been?
Murphy's fine. I've been across the globe. I've been everywhere. Still very much involved in projects, and there's a lot we're doing. But yeah, literally flew in a couple of hours ago.
We'll touch on the project later. So I want us to gist with the ladies.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Lagos,
to you
Nigeria, and the globe.
Yeah. So before you came on, we were talking about someone who had tweeted on social media saying that it's important that a man sets the tone for his spouse when you're bringing the person to your family, so that the person, your spouse, is not treated anyhow. How you set the tone determines how the spouse will be treated. And there was also a response here. This person says, the way I carry my wife, nobody get mind send a message for family house. Even the one she insisted on doing, they be like, leave it oh. Ike, your husband, meaning I don't have energy to deal with your husband. And the ladies had shared their thoughts on, how it's important that first of all, women respect themselves enough to set the tone themselves. And Miriam came with another angle that if you're bringing somebody into a different territory, you are marrying the wife in. Absolutely. You know your territory, you know it's your home. Absolutely. You should be the one setting the tone for how your wife is being treated in your home because it's your own space. And not you allowing her fight the battles by herself. What do you have to say to this, Sean?
Well, it's a very sensitive topic to some degree. For me, I think, yes, the man has a remarkable amount of responsibility in setting the tone he does, but you don't want to create a box situation where she's overprotective and she'll be getting some level of resentment from the family. So you want the lady to naturally find herself, like just naturally blend into the family. There are some families, it seems like you're throwing the lady to the wolves, but no, let her, have that natural free engagement with the family, because some family members they might look at it differently. They might say, okay, he's putting her in a box, she's in a cage, and once they start to see that, it might not just go down well, for her. It might come back to bite him in the behind eventually.
So can I just agree to what he said? I want to say that when Miriam was saying it, so I know of a particular family whereby when the girl came in, the husband already told the family, don't stress her. She doesn't call like that. Even me too, she hardly calls me. So don't be asking her to call you. Don't disturb her. Don't do this, don't do that. And the family agreed, okay, we would not do it. So every time they come for holidays, that's how she would just sit down. The families will not even disturb her. So there was a day that he went out to visit his friend, and then all the family members, grandma, auntie, all of them gathered her.
Absolutely.
To that, even though your husband said you should not do this, at least you are our wife. You should be calling all of us. At least for this Ileya, you call all of us. You greet all of us. You send us something. At least as you came to the house, you follow us to the kitchen. You say, okay, can I wash rice? Can I blend these tomatoes? You do something. Assist. That's how you should do. Absolutely. They started talking to her. And then at a point, some of the aunties started resenting her.
They would.
She saw it. So when she comes in like this, you see all of them just move their face away. Some will not even greet her. So yes, I understand that the man should set the tune. But then again, that tune can actually be detrimental to the woman's well-being in that family.
Totally.
Setting the tone.
Depends on
yes,
it.
But
Depends
also,
on it.
Isn't that a problem? For me, I feel I don't have to be told to call them. I don't have to be told.
Hey,
like
I'm a good person.
Yeah, so that, exactly.
Can we vary this?
So
Let's hear
not
her.
just, that's just an example, of course. But I'm saying that there's something, like the example that I made, that in my own home, when you come into my house, you're actually treated like a king. You're not expected to do anything. But eventually, the longer you stay in a house, it's expected that you want to be involved. Because not being involved, you yourself will feel like you've been left out.
Absolutely.
And I feel that any mature person who is in a relationship understands that you must find your way around.
Absolutely.
But the tone that needs to be set is a tone of respect. This is something I want from your spouse. How do you ask me to do it? For her case, it's because she had been so protected, they felt that they had to gang up to send her a message. Meanwhile, this is a conversation that could have happened over the phone, easy peasy, but we had to create a situation where they had to gang up. Even that gang up was not needed. That gang up was not even needed.
They had built
their
it up.
tone, their style,
Yeah,
their style of addressing it, for me, they didn't need a gang up.
But that's to you.
Yeah, but
But we have Fola.
Sorry,
I'll come back to all of you.
would have
We have
handled that.
Musa on the line. Good morning, Musa.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Lady of the View, good morning and Happy New Year to all
Good
of
morning.
you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
Year.
too, sir.
All what you people are saying concerning this topic is well spelled out by you people. Naturally,
Volume.
a man is supposed to protect his wife, even
Volume.
during the courtship,
Okay.
before you bring her in.
Okay.
To even meet your family, all those. Because when I wanted to marry, our marriage is about like 21 years now. We are into like courtship 60, almost 27 years.
Wow.
When I'm bringing even the area that I want to marry immediately I told my people that is where I want to marry from day they did not agree with me because they normally see that area as a very bad people.
Okay.
Interesting.
You know, what I told them, I said, I'm into this relationship. They are not with me when I started it. They should just exercise patience and observe this girl. You know, because me, in nature, I know that this girl is very good before I married. You know, when this girl eventually came in, I leave her. I did not even advise her to do this, to do this. But as I'm talking to you presently, almost 21 years of our wedding, they are very okay with my wife.
She found her way.
Absolutely.
Anything that he's not supposed to do, he will not do it. I'm not even advise her. You know, I did not even tell her almost that my people initially, they did not even want me to come and marry from her. But when they see her attitude, everything, all of them is okay with her.
They fell in love with her.
I'm
Well
telling
done.
you, that is it. But you have to send that boundary before she, not that you come and set her up against your people. Or you set your people against her. No, I did not do that. For almost 21 years, by special grace of God.
Congratulations.
We live happily and we are living happily with our marriage and with other things.
Brilliant.
That is it.
Brilliant.
But actually, a man is supposed to do that protection before the woman enter the house.
Comes into the
That
home.
is what I feel.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Musa, for that contribution.
Valid point, valid point. But for me, there is a fine line between protecting the lady and setting the tone. I think time also has its own part to play in all of it, where over a period of time, knowing the family and the family getting to know the lady in question, and that's what helped this marriage. 21 years, a lot goes into it. Lots of compromises and lots of sacrifices and lots of, it's a push and pull relationship, with the family. And she also, the onus is on the lady to also show his family a degree of respect, because you earn respect. You can't demand it.
Yeah.
So even if he tells the entire family, even if she's a royal, I've been privileged to meet royals. Royals do not like to be treated like royals. Even if she's from a royal family, one thing is they would see an individual first. So if you're dealing with an individual, if I do not treat you with respect, I can't expect respect from you. So you have to allow the relationship just fester naturally. Because if you ever protect her, that ganging up wasn't literally a ganging up. That's
aggression.
Yeah, that's the only window they saw. The man in question wasn't there.
There.
So they were like, okay, let's just tell her the ground rules. Now these are our demands. And it's not fair on the lady. The onus too is on the man to paint a picture for the lady in question.
My dad passed, and my sister-in-law a few months after said, all of you are strange because daddy died, you're acting strange towards me. And she was really crying. I felt immediately that something had disconnected. My father is extremely kind, and he seemed like, this is the kindest person, but he's a product. But there was a disconnect, because in my family, you can't talk about our sisters-in-law. You can't, as the children of the home, we can't have a sit-up where and we're women, we're more women than men. We can't have a sit-up, and my father would just walk in, everybody keep quiet and go to your houses. And so we never had a point where we expressed, disagreements. There was never a fight until he passed. And so the moment he passed, the first fight, she felt estranged. She missed him. She cried, and I was like, this should have happened while he was alive. You set the authority, everybody ends the respect with time.
Absolutely.
And we're quite older than she is and her husband. And so there's possibility for a difference to grow.
Absolutely.
Now, I wanted to disagree when you said the man sets the tone. Certain families have values a man would agree with that would not work for his wife.
Absolutely.
And so when he sees it being pushed at her, it might be impossible for her to carry out, but he will say, but there's nothing strange there. There's nothing wrong there, because he doesn't see it as wrong. Imagine, my auntie attended her first Ileya in her husband's family house just after introduction, not even the wedding, with her cooks.
Oh, wow.
It's been a tradition for the women of that family, as wealthy and exposed as they were, for the women to partake in the cooking. Till she came, there were just a few women. And imagine them finishing a cow per day. And the men would be jollificating because they didn't see anything wrong. And the first woman who came in just carried on. She said, no, I'm going there the way they do in my own place. She attended with her 2 helps. Until date, every woman comes with 2 helps. That's 8 helps.
I like that.
So, she told me that I didn't take that advice. I paid dearly for it, because I stayed with her. She mentored me growing up. And imagine me showing up at my own as first daughter-in-law without my help.
Interesting.
it took me years to change mindset because I made it work that first day. So it's expected this next year. It's expected. Even the year I came with cooks, the cooks were sent out. It was expected, you know. Before I could fight it off, I had to cancel showing up. I said, okay, this year you people should do your. Since Salah is punishment, it's no longer enjoyment.
So you unplugged yourself.
I had to unplug myself, and it will take you more of a rebellion to change things. In my sister's family, she was overprotected. Her husband said it, so he would hold her hand whenever they are coming, so nobody says anything. They ganged up, not that he went out, they sent him out. Called the boys of the family to say, take him out, let him go for a stroke.
So conflict resolution is an issue here for me.
So, no. Certain families, what people see as wrong, as acceptable, varies.
I totally agree.
Exposure.
Totally agree.
So you're coming from one place, and my father believes that she's raised, born by a different family, she will come with her different values. So you want to change it, you don't confront. Whereas if that confrontation had happened when he was alive, he would understand his daughter-in-law, he would understand his daughters.
Find a way to resolve it.
But we were never allowed. So I saw my sisters and my sister-in-law, I was just looking at all of them and laughing that, this should have happened while he was alive, and it happened later. It took God's intervention to bring sanity back.
Isn't that the same as I'm saying that because he didn't set the tone, the husband didn't set the tone. So setting the tone for me is not only about asking you to do things you don't want to do, blah, blah, blah. Setting the tone is also preparing the person coming in of what is expected.
Makes sense.
So that she didn't know is that the tone was not set
properly.
It was not set on that side. It was not set on your side. It was not set on the side.
But let me take this call, and then you come back to your disagreeing. We have Wisdom from Navy Town. Good morning, Wisdom.
Hello,
Are you there?
Wisdom.
I don't think we have Wisdom.
Okay, so certain women come in, and we must accept that women come with their own different, how do you call it?
As well.
No, I'm talking about women now because we come into families.
Okay.
Some women come in pretentious. Some women come in and take advantage of the protection their husband has given them. Take it as an opportunity to spoil and destroy some members of family. The way your sister looked at me. Oh, that's your brother's wife, the way she looked at me. Because you know your husband is protective of you, and you know this didn't happen. You don't even make an effort.
Absolutely. Okay. So she's
taking
advantage.
So you just enjoy your protection till the women start to build up the aggression in the example we gave. Then you have a final confrontation. You don't even know where to go. So take your time, coming kind, respect the people. Don't build up what you didn't see. Don't allege what you didn't see. If a person didn't greet you, accept that maybe they have a bad day. Oh, she came in, she has a bad day. As a mother-in-law, oh, my daughter-in-law, are you on the monthly flow? Is that why you're moody? Because you're a woman. You can excuse something like that. Make such an excuse. I was supposed to say, that picking rude. Now, maybe she waka past like that. You don't even know she's in pain. You know, having your daughter-in-law maybe having a secret thing she's dealing with, on maybe certain injections hormonally, and she's coming to the family house and she's not in the mood, and you're assuming she's badly raised, and you generalize it, you say to one person, two persons, and everybody just say, oh, not true, whereas the person is having a personal problem.
Perception will become reality. So I think there's a part we're forgetting. The oldest form of politics starts from the home.
Family.
You know, there is a political undertone in every relationship.
Exactly.
Just as she said, there are ladies who would, you know, be introduced to a family, and from the get-go, there's an agenda. The lady in question has an agenda. You know, my mission here is to split this family in half and take half the family's fortunes with me. Wow. So there's always an undertone, and this is me being quite candid. You know, talked about the lady in question who's taken advantage of the husband's protection. A lot of families can see through it. Yeah, exactly. You know, even if you're putting up a show, for how long would you put up the show for? They can cut through and see through and say, okay, she has an agenda here. Now the family goes into protection mode for their son in question. So it's politics, and like I said initially, it's a push and pull, but the most important part of it is getting to understand the family first. So and that's why you have to make it a very natural process, as opposed to overprotecting the lady. She sees the protection, takes full advantage of it, splits the family in half, and hits the road.
So we have a caller on the line, Samson from Amowodofi. Good morning, Samson.
Good morning. My name is Samson. Once again, I want to bring my contribution to the
Go ahead, please.
Let me like it. I have a personal experience, and it also depends on the family below, depends on where you are coming from, depends on your background. Okay. And when I first took my girlfriend home, Of course, I grew up in an environment where I was almost like a houseboy. And when she came, she joined me to do a lot of the course I was doing, washing clothes. That was what I was doing. She joined me, and I loved it till tomorrow. And eventually, we got married. And along the line, I think my uncles wanted her to continue in that same way. That, okay, even when I'm not around, she has to come to the house, even when she wasn't living there, to wash clothes, to clean.
Yeah, that's
And then when I came back during the family meeting, this was, and I told my uncle off point blank, this is the last time you mention my wife in a discussion like this, because my wife cannot continue from where I stopped. She's my wife now, she has to be respected, the family. And that put a seal on all this stuff, and she got her respect at the appropriate time. Then I became a parent, then my children just started to get married. And the truth. And I didn't intervene. I also said, okay, we have to allow the women or the girls to find their feet by themselves. No pretentious movement. The family has the DNA. Allow the girls to recognize the DNA and feed it to it. Then we won't intervene if things happen that we don't like. Then my also brought up the girl home, and then we were talking the dining table. All of them were in a big dining table. And then I was going to talk to my second son. That his girlfriend was also talking to him, and he was telling my son, listen to me first before you listen to my dad. And of course, at the end of that word, I continued. But my first son said to me, said to her, you can't do this in this family. You can't talk down my daddy. You have to get up from this table now. Eventually, I started because there was going to be a misunderstanding between the girl and my first son. But my second also kept quiet all through, and I like it. So when all the discussion ended, we had my boys, we have 3 boys and 1 girl. They met and said, this girl has to leave. They called to my table, and I said, if the girl can learn to change, if she cannot change, she also has to leave. I stood by them, the girl eventually left.
Okay.
My son got married to another. Just 2 months. So it depends on where we are coming from.
Yeah, thank you so much, Samson, for sharing that. So, personally, I believe that there must be a form of tone setting. The man should be able to set a tone for how his wife, his spouse, is going to be treated in the family. But I also believe that wisdom is very important as a woman. You know, when you come into a family, whether they have set the tone, they haven't set the tone, how do you come into the family? Do you come guns blazing? Do you come ready to fight everyone? Or do you come as a good person who is willing to compromise, who's willing to have conversations, you know, depending on how they also treat you?
Absolutely.
So I remember my own relationship where we started, and the tone was set very clearly. In fact, from the gate, you know that this guy is in love with this person, so we have to treat her right. But that didn't mean that I came into the compound or into the family, sitting down, crossing my legs and waiting for people to serve me. I respected mommy. I respected daddy. I did what I was supposed to do. I became friends with the siblings. In fact, that they fight my battle when it comes to my husband. In fact, my mother-in-law told me point blank, no woman will try you. I'm behind you, right? So I didn't wait for him to just, tell them that you can't do this, you can't do that, and then I sit down and I'm waiting for everybody to serve me and I'm disrespecting people. So you have a role to play, whether they set the tone or not. The tone is very important because I also had someone else who came into the family and that tone wasn't set and it was not pleasant. So the tone is very important as a woman. And like Miriam rightly said, you are the one bringing this person to your own territory. You know your family better. You know them. You know how you can get your wife to understand them better. We are constantly having this conversation. When it comes to my family front, I protect my husband. There are some things you don't say. Don't call him directly for something. I do that. And they give him that respect. Then when we come to his own side, he does that for me. So I would remind him that you have not spoken to my daddy in a bit. Call him. I don't want wahala. We fill in the gap for one another, for each other. Yeah. So it's very important that as they are setting the tone for you, use your brain. Use your brain.
I like what you said. I just want to talk about wisdom as a woman. Yes, I'm 39. I'm just 5 years in marriage. But one thing I've learned in marriage is that as a woman, you must use that your wisdom IQ when dealing with your in-laws. I don't know how to call it.
You have to put it together. You need that way. You need to put it together.
Everything.
Use it.
It makes a great deal of sense.
You have to. Yeah. So I'll just give you a small example. I love my in-laws. I love them. They would never stress me, especially my mother-in-law. But my husband actually set the tone. Do you know that there's a kind of tone that your partner would set that the family might not accept it, but they cannot kill him. So they don't like him, but
They go manage.
they just manage him.
Compromise.
And that's something that I saw happen in my home when we just got married. So when we just got married, like 6 months into the marriage, my mother-in-law came in. I was pregnant. And then she immediately, I was at work, and she immediately entered the kitchen. And my husband was like, no, you cannot enter my wife's kitchen like that. You must wait until she comes.
Yeah.
So he has already set the tone now, right?
Oh, wow.
She wasn't happy about the tone. She was very sad.
We said
So when
that
I
to his
came-
mom.
Yeah, he said
Was
that
that
to his mom.
something you like?
Interesting.
Oh no, I had to
You
use
appreciate?
my. I had to
She's
use that
giving us a
wisdom.
story, yeah.
No, I had to put on the lights, to be honest. So when I came in, oh mommy, Roma, how you doing? Hope you are fine. But I just noticed that she wasn't fine.
Straight face.
She was, yeah, she put on a straight face. I was like, what happened? And I said, Tunde, what happened? He said, nothing, she just wanted to cook. I said, don't enter don't enter the kitchen.
I said, what?
I said, mommy, sorry. Mommy, you're my mother. You're supposed to enter my kitchen. My husband was upset. He was like, no, you're supposed to stand. When I say something, you're supposed to stand by me. I said, Tunde, he did they try.
No, set you try.
I would know.
What sets me up?
I'm like, I would know.
Tunde.
That's where wisdom takes place. So, in as much as your husband will set the tone, you as a
have to
person
apply
too, you
wisdom.
have to apply wisdom and set the tone for yourself too,
Now
so
you
that
be
they will
kind
be,
woman.
so that they will be able to say, Sarah will not like this thing, and that's what my mother-in-law does now, because I've already set the tone for myself. So that's kind of things that she would want to do, and she'll be like, oh, Sarah would not like this. She made this clothes for me. She knew what I wanted. So the tailor was saying, no, sew something very tight. She was like, no, Sarah would not like it. So set the tone for yourself.
Yeah, so let's take this call,
Okay.
then I'll come to all
Mama, no
the
doubt.
ladies, everyone else, yes. So Beauty from London, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Beauty. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yes, so I just want to give my own view on this. I'm an Igbo lady married to a Yoruba. Now, I've been married for like 16 years now. I really want to
How many
say that
years?
when it comes to, 18.
18 years.
Wow.
Veteran.
That's amazing.
18, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so when it comes to things about, family, setting boundaries, as a lady, when you get married to, like for me, getting married to a different tribe, you're expected that when you're greeting your mother-in-law, you have to go for everything. And there's a way we should have respect by, bowing down ourselves to greet, So for me, the first day I saw my in-laws, the first day I traveled to Osun State to visit, I was just me. One thing with me is all this eye service thing I don't do, I was just me. But I saw that being me and me that respect. I respect and I'm a humble person. So my mother has seen me for the first time. The way she welcomed me, even when I was trying to greet her, the way she welcomed me, took off her wrapper and was spreading it that I should walk in, because my husband is the only son. But then I saw that warm welcome. But I haven't been married for some months during that early stage. I noticed that my sister-in-law called me and she would say to me, have you visited Ife? Have you gone to see Mommy? I want you to go and be visiting every week. When you go help them to do some house choice. I didn't see that as something that it was something I was expecting. So immediately I said, okay, I've had. And I called my husband. And my husband was like, don't worry. And then he fixed it. And that was the last time she ever said something. So yeah, sometimes the husband can come in when they overstep some certain boundaries. If that is what other women do, but for me, myself, it's not something that she knows very well I can't do. I can't leave my job or start traveling to and fro from here to here because I need to do certain things because I'm married to a son. So yes, for me, sometimes it's even the sister-in-laws that can be a little bit hectic.
Sisters-in-law,
yeah.
That's where your husband comes in.
Thank you so much, Beauty, for sharing that. Who was ready? Mary?
Yes, I was going to say that, in setting the tone, we must understand that there are some people that will abuse it. And that's a different
We have
conversation.
conflict resolution.
Then there's, yes, and then there are some people, because they have set a tone and they've protected you, there's some people, like you highlighted, that will abuse it. But, for me, I feel that those are special cases. And those special cases need special resolution. And also in conflict resolution, it does not have to be ganging up, guns blazing, killing you, hanging you on a cross. There are different ways to have a conversation because we're family, And the wisdom that you talk about, for me, I wouldn't have mentioned wisdom because for me, I feel like it's common sense. I mean, you should, as if, in your 30s, you would have achieved some form of common sense on how to relate with people. So you find yourself in a situation where it's a bit dicey. It looks like I'm going to be in between the father and husband and mother here. What do I do? I mean, especially for you, well, you're married to an African man. So it's not as if you have gone and married a Ukrainian man. You don't even know what to do or what is expected. I watched this movie, one of these Christmas movies recently, and I thought it was the funniest thing. She's from one of these countries like Finland or something, a lady, and she had and she had an Indian boyfriend that she took to her house. So they were supposed to have a New Year's meal, or was it Christmas? And he goes out of his way to prepare the best Indian meal for them, like a whole spread. They were so upset. Because in their house, you cook their meal for that particular, it's not right. You are invited into our home and you accept it. I said, African wife or mother, say that is your husband. That's the man that came into my house and cooked food for us. That's your husband. But in their family, they were so upset. He was too forward. Who gave him the right to be, you know? So the thing is, that's where the setting of tone comes in. The person coming does not know all the rules. You know the rules, so you're preparing the person. But there's some little conversations that happen here where that person's wisdom or common sense will come into play. And then where there's a clash, because no matter what, however well you have set the tone or however well you have protected someone or how much common sense you have, you definitely have conflict. So always put that. You can never be a...
Welcome back. We're still having this conversation, how to or not to set the tone for your spouse in your family. Sean had something to say.
Oh, what I would say basically is most relationships, it's just a balancing act. It's more or less like rolling the dice. If we're telling a man to set the tone, he can set the tone all day long. But it's always about what his family takes away from it, you know, and the resentment will come from, okay, she's starting to influence our son. You know, that's a very important part. That's a very, you know, very sensitive part of the relationship where you're trying to introduce her to the family, you're telling her the ground rules, and okay, this is how we do it here. Like the lady who called from London saying, you know, she was told to go do the laundry. Some ladies wouldn't mind doing it, but if the man now comes back and tells his family, no one should tell my wife X, Y, Z, they start to see influence. They say, okay, she's got a hold on him, you know. And from an African standpoint, you know, there are lots to that story. But on a global from a global point of view, it's always about, oh, there is influence here. Our son has changed, our brother has changed, my nephew has changed. There are lots of things. What influence does she have on the man in question? But
like an obvious couple, because of where you're from, is the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Your favorite.
You know, I like to highlight them every time in conversation. Is he's setting a tone that they feel is not part of their family tradition, and she is also setting her boundaries. And I mean, we know the word.
Getting the respect for herself.
That's a very good, good example. So for Harry, even when his mum was here, you know, bless her soul, it was also a very tricky business with Diana. You know, Lady Diana. It was, you know, God bless her. But it all depends on what sort of family. You know, the royal family globally is an institution, even in the UK, where the crown comes first. You know, the crown is the most important part of the institution. And if you're marrying into that family, into the institution or the crown, it's a totally different kettle of fish where
expectations.
Harry in question is bound by the crown. You know, and if you're a lady who's attached to him, like Meghan Markle, the actor, it's just sad to see it play out. The entire family is in global view, so the public has an opinion, but there are family rules based on the crown. So it was tough for her to get in, and but now there is a friction between Harry and Williams. There's a friction between Harry and Kate. You know. But
they will be fine
in that dynamic.
As long as they are alive,
they will be fine.
One day.
Let's take this call. We have Emeka from Kaduna. Good morning, Emeka. Emeka, are you there? We don't have Emeka yet.
Okay, so I was going to, I totally agree with Uwe on today's episode. In fact, I'm aligning fast along her. But there's also the in-laws' wisdom. So when
Wisdom IQ.
person, it's and IQ may
wisdom.
join, in how they see their sister, the new sister, found sister now, in this case. For instance, the example she gave of setting the boundary, and her husband setting the boundary, and she had to correct it. So let's assume a woman always likes her in-laws well taken care of. Sit down, she's hosting them, she's doing so much, You must know the time to be kind to assist. Don't get so comfortable you forget it. I have this perfect situation I saw where the woman has it all put together. She gets her workers, she gets her cooks when they come in. Even though they have plenty differences, she's hosting them. And one time, the cleaners had left. Everybody had left. The in-laws were having a ball. She was serving them. She had made food. She had made pepper soup. Each time they ate, they flung the plate.
Because they're used to being taken care of.
Same gender. They fling the plate with their kids in attendance.
Yeah, interesting.
And we see this, because I'd like to localize the examples. We see this Yawole thing, seriously abused, and Yawole in Islam is called the mistress of the home. Yeah. She's the unifier. She's not in any, it's like
she's not the house help of the home.
A business where you have the queen, whose role is beyond just so strong. Yes, to bring the family together. Yeah. You can't then overburden. Everybody must carry on a role, which is what we apply where I'm from, in my own family. And I see this lady who's always done hosting, who were just there, Ilea, her cooks finished cooking at 7. Immediately they leave. If there's anybody still eating, that person knows to clear up. Wisdom. Because if you leave that woman to continue working at 7, she will not be smiling hosting you. That wisdom and acumen should apply across board. But the moment you now ask children who are not toddlers to finish eating and go and give
their plates.
The plates, and she's complaining that, okay, you people have used the house with the tents, I need to clear it, and you're seated, you're so comfortable, and then you go into sleep and you ask why she's not smiling in the morning. She then swear for her. Of course, you're not going to be invited again.
Of course.
Or if you ever show up, she would be guarding herself.
The approach will be different. It'll be different.
As Miriam said, we are family. You must understand when you need to step in to assist, to help, and continue to make easy for that unifier.
Yeah. Let me take this call. Chinedu from Ikeja. Good morning, Chinedu. Chinedu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I just want to add something to this conversation. I like what the lady sitting directly opposite
Oui?
Woman. There was an instance she gave where her husband he told the mother not to use the kitchen, the wife's kitchen and all of that. And she came in and she realized that was like a setup. Unknown to the husband, but it was a setup for the wife. If she had, danced into the tune, and the wife would have taken that as a no-no. She would accuse the lady that she was the one that set the rules. Meanwhile, it was the husband like setting the rules. So, in as much as it is important for the man who is taking the wife to set some certain rules or tones. But I think it's important that we be careful. We try to be careful in the tones we are setting, so that we don't set our wife off by taking her to the home. Because I think it's better sometimes, because we are all human beings. Sometimes we just leave people to coexist. To try to find a way around their relationship, because this is the new wife coming into the home. And she needs to catch up with the siblings of the man and the parents. So you can't set up, because in my setup is a tone that this is my wife. I don't want anybody to send her around. If you are not there and everybody already knows that the husband don't want anybody to send the wife, and maybe your own mother is found maybe washing something and your wife is just sitting there. Anybody that comes in, even if it's a neighbor, will just perceive your wife as a bad person. And meanwhile, this was the kind of tone you said. So I think it's a very sensitive topic.
Thank you very much. So let's not forget that they are actually bad families. Yes, let's not act like we don't see it. They are bad families and they are good families. They are families that the man, the son that was raised in that family by maybe providence became a good person, and he understands what his mother and his sisters can do. He has seen it growing up.
Brothers.
Oh, brothers. He has seen it growing up, what they did to all the wives that came in, all the husbands that came in. And in his wisdom, he decides to protect his spouse from his family. Is that wrong?
No, it's not.
It's not about changing his family.
How do you change?
Hold on.
How do you change?
Hold on. You know I still practice law. I did a will recently of a woman. In fact, sadly, it was my tribe. This man overprotected her, and he passed. The toxicity, she couldn't deal with it.
They're not bad already.
No. My dad did something. I told you yesterday that my tribe will do burials out of land, we waste at burials. And he went round, taking his time to his kith and kin. I choose to be exempted from this tradition and practice. Exempt my kids.
Interesting.
So how about telling them, this nonsense, this thing, it good for your eye. Not do it for my side, though. Make on not do them again. You people should stop it.
What are you talking to? Your parents?
Your parents.
Your aunties?
Your parents.
No, but that's
Do you
a
know
different
who
battle,
survived my dad? Do you know who survived my dad?
Hold on.
Hold on. My dad my dad's uncle, the head of family, survived him.
Okay.
And when he died, I picked the phone and said, are we bringing daddy home? Or can we bury him in Lagos? He said, go ahead. He had told me. And that very culture and tradition. Your parents are not, now you get your parents. Now you fit tell your parents say they have done something wrong. Imagine your wife saying, mommy did something wrong. It will be considered a sacrilege. But imagine their son saying, no, mommy, this is wrong.
So let me tell you something. Let me add something a little, right? Their sons and daughters, maybe by how they were raised, who cannot stand and look to their parents and say no. Do you agree that we have them?
Yes.
We have them.
Lion no dey born goat. If your parents be lion, now you go tell them. No, you can't be a goat and be the son of a lion.
Husbands who could not look to their father or their mother to say what you're doing is wrong. They cannot. They will just go behind and grumble. And they marry. And they raise their own children. So if you have such a wicked family already, bad family already, and you cannot look to them to say, what you're doing is wrong and all that. So what do you protect your own wife?
In that case, you might estrange your children from their cousins. At the end of the day, they divide family. You yourself. See, you have to be the lion if your father is a lion. Look the lion in the eye and say, we know they shot this goat.
Is it a living rat than a dead lion? Have you heard that?
Yes, a living rat than a dead
lion. Oh, now your parents want lion kill their rats.
No, have you heard that? So we have heard of situations because of how toxic it is that children have left home. I know of people who, when they're going home to visit their family, they'll say to the wife, we're not sleeping over. The children should know we're not sleeping over.
Yes.
Because of some of the things that they know can happen. Or my father is likely to say this, or my mother is likely, please don't respond.
But you're
just
saying
for
it to
my
your
sake.
wife.
Yes.
You're saying it with your wife, not with your family.
Yes. No, auntie, that's what I'm talking about. Because you already understand that this place, the only way to survive this place is to give it space.
You yourself don't break it.
But yes, I've broken away, and the reason that you see who you see today is because I've had to do a lot of work on myself, and I'm going to protect you. But we're still going to give them the respect that they deserve. We'll visit them, we'll show up. But these are the things that you might find. So we can never sleep there. We can, please. There's some things that they may say to you. Don't respond. I know it will make you really angry, but please don't respond, and then we'll leave. So these are, for me, I feel that these are extreme situations. You know, not many families are like that. Yes, a very peculiar one. So I don't think that is the general. The general, exactly.
Yeah. But let's take this call. I'll come back to you, Miriam. We have Patrick from Kaduna. Good morning, Patrick.
Hello.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Yeah. Madam, I'm Patrick.
I said Patrick.
Yeah. You see, I'm very interested. I'm interested on on this year program. Can you please believe that women women organization, women friends lead problem to family.
Women friends.
The women problem, the women friends
Women,
that come
her
to
friends
them,
are
goes around.
influence, yeah.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Absolutely, yes, we can.
Good. The women meet friends, coordinating, seeing things happening, even seeing things happening on TV. They roll it into their living and makes a man to be brutal. It wasn't how it started. But what they see is sometimes what they coordinate, what they don't prefer that it is best to them. They want to be like that. All fingers are not equal. If you really come to marriage, you don't need to look outside. Whatever you see there, you still it. We're not talking about beating anybody, or a man beating wife, beating up and down. There must be problem why you see a man beating a woman.
Wow. Cool. Thank you, Patrick.
It's not allowed.
Before we go back to Mary, what I would say is marriage and globally is an institution where it's not a walk in the park. You know, you can't, marriage doesn't have a timeline where you're saying, oh yes, I'm doing this business. It's not like a business deal. It's not like an endorsement deal where, you know, the lifespan of that. It's something you're dedicating your entire existence to. So it's an institution that you learn of it on a daily, you give to it, you take from it. So there's a lot to it. And with that being said, despite you setting the tone, you could be setting the tone to individuals who are tone deaf. You could be. I'm you know, they're tone deaf to whatever you're saying. And like you said initially, there are families, you know, where you're fighting a totally different beast, where you're trying to change a family, where there's been generations, decades, if not a century, of a tradition where they're stuck with their old ways. Now, in her case, finding your sanity is unplugging from that family. You have to be sane to fix any issue.
True.
So you must find your peace, find your level of sanity. And once they notice that distance in that void, that space, they start to read the writings on the wall. The family will start to take a cue from it and say, well, Miriam is no longer coming. Well, mom and dad, you guys know why she no longer comes for family meetings. Because they start to look inwards. That's why, for me, I think one of the greatest inventions of man is a mirror. The mirror would give you your reflection. So if Miriam is saying, I need my sanity and peace, and anyone in my tiny circle, I must educate them on what my family is like. So you know, sanity and peace of mind comes first. If you're sane, if you're in the right mind, and just like the lady said, she's taking time to walk on herself. Now going back to that family, it's a totally different beast entirely. So set the tone all day long, they're tone deaf. They're stuck in their ways,
Sean,
but it's subject to change.
Have you attended a burial where you see so much disrespect for the dead, even though the person lived well and was extremely kind?
That's
you
heartbreaking.
Wonder, how heartbreaking that can be. That's why it's important to try when you're there. You've protected the woman, you even put in a will, but you also owed certain people. In this case I handled, he also owed members of that family certain things which he also provided.
Interesting.
Now, a respectful relationship meant that they must find the middle ground to work. He left kids who were provided for, who must find an auntie to call an auntie on his side. But he thought, let me overprotect because I'm married outside the tribe. And this woman, she was so heartbroken when she sat before me, and I kept explaining to her that give it a few years, this can change overnight. But she couldn't see the possibility. The husband just, had told her this, and she didn't ever have to try, to make a middle ground. She didn't, and even her kindness, they were on the other side just calling it, because of this. They never, some confrontations are better seen, handled,
Do you know,
than
this
avoided.
You have made me remember my own personal story. I didn't want to share it. My dad died, and my mom took us away. And it was important that she did. Maybe it would have been easier for her if we stayed with her in-laws, if they were able to help. But it was important for her to protect us, to continue in the way that her husband wanted her to protect the children. So sometimes you will step away.
It's
at the cost of maybe life is not going to be easy. You may not know your cousins or your aunties. But one thing about life, the truth will reveal itself and people will adjust.
In time.
Yeah.
But we need
that
to,
was paramount.
that was what
Protecting
she
you,
needed to
paramount,
do,
yeah.
and I appreciate her for
Yes,
this.
it's
You know,
important.
there were times people would say, why are you carrying this all on your own when you could have, you know? And she said one of the things that they wanted, so obviously during the marriage, it wasn't really, she wasn't so accepted. But when he died, they wanted her to give one child to them and stay with one child. And then at the holidays, you exchange children. And she says, how do they lose their father and then lose each other? So that means they would never meet. But because I need the help to help raise these children, then I will do that. She didn't. She didn't.
So she walked away from a paycheck.
She walked away from anything. And today, here we are.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and that's why I say these are extreme cases, sometimes you walk away. It may look like disrespect at the time, but your mental health, your sanity is so
peace of
important.
mind.
Your children
It's
that you're
priceless.
trying to raise is important. Because sometimes she was, you know, the other day, just recently we were talking, she was like, I wonder what would have happened if I left you with them. I was like, those filling stations would have been the filling station attendants. Very sure.
And
You
no
may not even be
disrespect,
close
no
to her
disrespect
today.
to them,
Yes,
though.
you may not be. And let me add this as we're wrapping up so that we can just quickly touch on Sean. Sometimes we assume that we are meant to be in this situation. But everything that happens to us is not, there's no coincidence, there's no accident. If you're meant to have a relationship with your cousins, you will find yourselves. If you're not meant to have a relationship with those cousins, there's nothing you can do about it. Even if you stay in that family, you will not have that relationship. I was raised in Idiogbe, like we talked about yesterday, family house. And today I don't have a relationship with my cousins. And we were all raised together. We grew up together. But today we don't have that relationship. So it's not about being in that space that is toxic for you. If it's not good for your mental health, find your way out of it. But I would have loved that we touched on character. Because what I see is sometimes we assume that people, like Mariam was saying, that you would have thought that this is common sense. Not everybody has that common sense. Not everybody was raised to understand that when they see you in the morning, they will greet you. Not everybody was raised to understand that when they finish eating their meal, they will wash their dishes. You meet people every day and you realize that these things that I took for granted, that mommy was always telling me or daddy was always telling me, these people don't know it. It's a big deal for many people. So how do we help? This is a question that we don't have time to take. People build their character as families, as in-laws, as parents, as you're raising children, as wives that are going to homes. How do you build your character in such a way that you're a good human being? So I think we'll answer this question on another day. Sean, what's going on with you?
It's a lot. A lot's been going on. There are two things I'm remarkably excited for. Is I have a team of IT experts. They're developing an app that would serve not just this part of the globe, the entire African hemisphere, but the globe at large. But we'll be starting in 6 major cities: Lagos, Johannesburg, Accra, Ghana, Abuja. A couple of cities around Africa. We'll be starting there, but it's a project that would empower, my generation, the youths. It would create jobs. I'm just excited for it. It's been in the works I've been at it for like 2.5 years now, and it's looking really good. But it's an app that would create jobs, serve a massive need, and change the dynamic of how we do business across the entire African hemisphere.
What's the app about? What's
Yes, what's
Or is it still
is it your-
sports related, media related?
So, it's a good question, very good question. It's just going to be serving the entire public, and I'm still in conversations with my execs, so the executives, and they wanted to keep it on a hush hush for now.
non-disclosure.
So we're still, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, paperwork from the paperwork standpoint, but the IT team is good to go. We've run a few tests on it abroad, and it's looking good. The other part of it is, politics.
Okay.
Sean is getting into politics with this accent.
Wait now. Government restrictions.
Wait. Please tell us about politics.
So I think politics and social media, show business all in one box. Talk about character. We have to keep educating ourselves on daily issues, daily topics. I think we have to be more involved. I think the younger generation globally, we need to understand and see politics too from a different lens. So when backing on on something that would redefine how the younger generation sees politics and understands it.
Yeah, how about the media space? You used to be on
Me-
radio, talking
media,
sports. Are you
still-
still interested in that?
100% still very much involved in it. I've done, massive projects for TV and radio. I'm still very much broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster first before any other thing, but I'm still very much in it. I've, done projects in the UK, the States, and on some, I'm still a big part of this family. CBS is still a major part of my family.
Just,
So.
I know a lot of people would be curious to know, where are you from? Your parents, where are they from? Where are you presently?
Okay, so
Max FM?
Max FM, is still very much my family. Where I'm from, I'd like to say I'm a global citizen. My dad passed in 2021, but half of us are in the UK, half of us, and some of us are in the States, and some of us still.
Where was that from?
We have to go.
On another day, we'll touch on that.
Thank you so much, Sean Amadi, for joining the ladies to discuss, and thank you, ladies, for your wisdom and the wisdom IQ that we brought on the conversation today. I hope you guys have learned as much as we have. I will see you again tomorrow. Your View Pigeon is going to be live tomorrow.
Yes.
We break it. We're going to be live tomorrow. So see you again. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Sure.
Bye.